Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host. Just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Sunday, March 10th, the basketball slate. I do apologize, we're a little bit behind. We got college and NBA basketball going on today. We'll go ahead and get into it here as we're rolling a little bit late. First game up, Nebraska, Michigan. Michigan this season has been an absolute dumpster fire when it comes to basketball. It's a shame. We love Juwan Howard. I think he does really good things for college basketball in general. So obviously remembering him back to the Fab Five days, playing with Miami in the NBA. Love Juwan Howard. Unfortunately, this year just hasn't been it. Fred Hoiberg, though, does have this Nebraska team playing. He got kind of a raw deal coaching before with Iowa State. He's a fantastic coach. If he just can, if he can recruit at a big blood, I mean, this guy to me would be the ultimate guy to have at one of these, power, the 15, 20 schools that always seem to be there in the mix. But we do like Nebraska today, -3.5 first half, -6.5 for the game. One more time, Nebraska -3.5 first half, -6.5 for the game. Next game up, Wisconsin traveling to Purdue. Purdue's already wrapped up the Big Ten, but seeding important here, and I don't think they want to lose to Wisconsin anyway. Purdue beats Wisconsin in Madison. You know, the last two teams, last game these teams played. Wisconsin tried to keep it close, but in the end, Purdue pulled away in the last couple minutes, having the lead and making free throws. So I'm not sure why the line was only 10 here, especially as bad as Wisconsin's been over the last month. But would happily take the 10.5, lay it there. Purdue -6 first half, -10.5 for the game. Purdue -6 first half and -10.5 for the game. Next game up, Ohio State traveling to Rutgers. Ohio State actually laying 1.5. Very confusing here. Now, if this game was at Ohio State and it was 1.5, we'd be betting the hell out of Ohio State. Rutgers is a different team at home. They block a ton of shots. They play good defense, and they seem to be able to finally get the lid off the basket at home as well. So we'll take the 1.5 points with the home dog here, and run, don't walk to the window. So Rutgers, +0.5 first half, +1.5 for the game. One more time, Rutgers +0.5 first half and +1.5 for the game. Next game up, the Missouri Valley Conference Championship game here, conference tournament, automatic bid on the line. Drake needs this probably more. Well, let's be honest here. Drake really needs this. Indiana State, I think, is getting an at-large berth either way. Drake, if they don't win this, it's going to be close for them to make the tournament or not. We did pick Drake at the start of this. Before the start of this tournament here to win it. It was right around +200. They're +126 today on that one. So we do like Drake in this matchup here. Indiana State, though, is going to cause some problems. And it would not shock me, obviously. Drake's a 2.5, 3-point underdog. It would not shock me if Indiana State does pull this out. But I think Drake's going to be a little bit more desperate here. And Tucker DeFreeze for Drake, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't go off for 30. He's had 26+ against Indiana State twice so far this season. And they need a big game from Tucker here in order to get this home. So we're going to roll with Drake. We will take Drake +1.5 first half, +3 for the game. Drake +1.5 first half, +3 for the game. Next game up, SMU UAB. This line has moved. SMU started off as a favorite when it opened yesterday. Now back to around to UAB -1.5. UAB Temple game's kind of under scrutiny a little bit on the way the point spread moved as it went from 3 to 9 in an hour stretch. Seems to be something a little funky going on there. I don't know if that's going to have any lingering effect for UAB. I am kind of shocked, though, how all this money came on UAB. I don't know if it's just because they came off of beating Temple by almost 30. SMU has been fantastic all season long. They've played well. I don't think you can look at too many games and go, look at SMU that they got absolutely their doors blown off. Expect this game to be tight all the way through. So that being the case, we'll just take the points in our pocket. Like I said, I can't believe SMU is favored. We were going to stay away from this game as a favorite when it opened, but when the line turned, we had to hop on. So SMU +0.5 first half, plus 1.5 for the game. SMU plus a half first half, plus 1.5 for the game. Next game up, Michigan State at Indiana. Surprised this line's only 3.5. Is anybody else surprised by that? Because we sure are. Michigan State, obviously, much better team here. Indiana can go stretches and stretches of not scoring. They struggle so much. And Michigan State does have their moments where they can be a little bit retarded when it comes to scoring as well, even though they have much better scorers and athletes, I think, than Indiana does. But we do like Michigan State here. I just laying such a low number. We even got it at 4 just to cut some of the juice. But with Michigan State -2 first half, -4 for the game. Michigan State -2 first half and -4 for the game. Next game up that we're on is going to be 4 o'clock out here in Phoenix, so 7 o'clock Eastern time now with daylight savings, and happy daylight savings time to everybody too. Illinois going to Iowa, playing in Iowa City. Illinois, 1.5 point road favorite, 171.5 total. I will say this: this is another line I'm a little shocked at. I understand the Big Ten regular season is over, but nobody really wants to lose a game going into the conference tournament. I mean, not like people are like, we're just going to sit, we don't care. That's not the case. Seeding is always important. Getting another quad 1 win against Iowa definitely would help the resume for Illinois. Maybe they sneak up somehow to get a 2 seed, 3 seed with Kansas. The way they got beat up yesterday, maybe they're falling off the 3 line, something of that nature. So there's no reason for Illinois to lay down here. So Illinois -1 first half, -1.5 for the game. Illinois over Iowa -1 in the first half, -1.5 for the game. Next game up is going to be a conference tournament game. James Madison, the 2 seed, going against Texas State, the 11. James Madison, if you remember back to like the November time frame for college basketball, they were actually ranked. There was a lot expected, I think, out of James Madison. Season necessarily wasn't out of this world great or anything of that nature. But James Madison's a good ball club here. And laying 12.5 kind of seems like a steal, I'll be really honest. 12.5. I thought this number would have been 15.5. So at that number, really like that one there. So James Madison -7 in the first half, -12 for the game. One more time, James Madison -7 first half and -12 for the game. There is a lot of conference tournament games going on. So do make sure you're looking at that and you're not thinking that's a home team when it's actually a game on a neutral site. So we will get into the NBA. There are quite a few games today. We've got, I think, like right around 10 games today in the NBA. There are a couple games, though, I will mention later on that do not have any player props out yet. So do make sure you check out the Google Sheets at the end of every episode that we do. It's a link to, it's in the comments section. It'll say docs.google.spreadsheet. That is a link to all of our bets, what juice we got those at, how many units we wagered, and then also what book, and then obviously once the game's over, result, and you can kind of follow along there. We do update bets. We try to get the show out as early as possible, but we do update bets as we go along through the day. Something gets closer to game time and something pops up, we might take that, so do make sure you kind of go back to those and check. But that being said, we will get started. Bucks, Clippers. Clippers are a 6-point home dog currently, 222 total. I have Clippers coming off a back-to-back. They played pretty sloppily and still got a 10-point win against the Bulls yesterday. The Bulls really kind of owned them in the first half. The Clippers kind of took that over in the second, but the line, they were a 1.5-point favorite. Now all of a sudden they're 6-point dog, and nothing on the injury report that I saw on the Clippers side. So we'll roll with the Clippers here. It's just home team back-to-back. They didn't have to travel. Milwaukee's been good since the break, but they also lost to the Lakers. I mean, and if you ask me Clippers-Lakers right now, I don't think it's remotely close on which the better team is. But anyway, Clippers plus 1.5 for first quarter is what we took there. We also took them plus 2.5 first half, plus 5.5 for the game. Kawhi Leonard over 23.5 points. Kawhi 25-plus points. Kawhi 2+ threes. Kawhi 3+ threes. Zubats 10+ rebounds. and Kawhi Leonard over 34.5 par. Normally we would be on James Harden turnovers here as well, but unfortunately that line has went to 3.5 instead of 2.5. I'm not going to bet him at 4 turnovers. I'll bet him at 3 all day long, but 4 you're pushing. They'll put it to you that way on that one there. It is plus money, but a little bit out of our range there. But and no Paul George under. I think maybe he puts together right around the number today on that one. I don't see them, Milwaukee shutting him out, and he should have there should be a lot of open looks from 3. The 3-point defense is not fantastic for Milwaukee. Now, their interior defense has been really top-notch since the break. But I don't expect that 3-point defense all of a sudden to be out of control great or anything of that nature. Bucks have been playing well since the break, but like I said, they got beat by the Lakers, got beat by the Warriors. It's going to be a little bit of this, that, and the other. And the Clippers have not been fantastic either since the break. I mean, they made us so much money in December and January. February and March have been a little bit tough for the Clips, no question about it. But we're going to roll with them again today. Plus 1.5 first quarter, plus 2.5 first half, plus 5.5 for the game. Kawhi Leonard over 23.5 points, 25 plus points, 2 plus threes, 3 plus threes, and over 34.5 par. That's points, assists, rebounds combined. And Zubac's 10 plus rebounds. Next game up on the board is going to be the Rockets at the Kings. Rockets 6.5, 7-point favorite, depending on where you're getting it at. Kings at home, 234 total here. So Rockets just got beat by the Trailblazers, and all of a sudden we think they're going to be better tonight. I don't think so, but Kings have been a real mystery all season long. Like all of a sudden they play defense on the road, but the offense isn't as tight as it is at home. They get home, they seem to open things up a little bit. The defense gets a little awry. They've been inconsistent. They have not been the team that they were last season. Now they have had some injuries, no question about that. Has that really hurt them a little bit? Probably, maybe a little bit of hangover from last year, as everything kind of fell into place last year. Kind of thinking that the following year is going to do the same. It necessarily doesn't work that way. But we did take the Kings today, -2 first quarter, -3.5 first half, -7 for the game. I just think they're way too much for Houston. Now, if this game was in Houston, the Rockets have actually covered quite a bit at home, have been good against the number. But definitely think the Kings are the better play here today. De'Aaron Fox, over 26.5 points. 3 plus threes, over 36.5 par. Sabonis, 20 plus points, triple-double, and over 42.5 par. So one more time in this Kings-Rockets matchup. Kings -2 first quarter, -3.5 first half, -7 for the game. De'Aaron Fox, over 26.5 points, 3 plus threes, over 36.5 par. Domantas Sabonis, 20 plus points, a triple-double, and over 42.5 par in that Kings and Rockets game. Next game up, Heat and the wonderful Wizards. Man, it's watching Washington Wizards basketball just absolutely painful to watch. Now, here's the even better thing. Now we get to watch it with the Heat, which can be a little, how do I put this? A little hard to watch at times, might be the best way to put it. They can be a little difficult to watch. They're offensively sometimes challenged, to be polite. We do like the Heat quite a bit, though, in this game here. Only 11 at home. It's hard to win there anyway if you're a good team, let alone you're the Washington Wizards. So Heat -3.5 first quarter, -6.5 first half, -11 for the game. Denny Avita under 15.5 points for the Wizards. Jordan Poole over 2.5 turnovers for the Wizards. And then Duncan Robinson over 14.5 points. And then 4 plus threes as well. We love Duncan shooting threes at home, especially with Tyler Hero out. He does get a lot of looks. We expect the same today. And it's not like the Wizards are playing any kind of defense. So Heat -3.5 first quarter, -6.5 first half, -11 for the game. Denny Avita under 15.5 points, Duncan Robinson over 15 plus points, 4 plus threes, and Jordan Poole over 2.5 turnovers. We get into the next game here. Pelicans at the Hawks. Pelicans a 6.5 point road favorite, 220.5 total roughly in this one, depending on what book you're getting it at. Pelicans come off a big win. They dominate in the first halves. It's just their second halves have been real sloppy as of late, to be nice. But they have been dominant in the first half of games. The Hawks, all kinds of injuries. Jalen Johnson's out. Obviously, Trae Young's out until next month at the earliest. DeJounte Murray did hit the injury designation as a game-time decision as well. If DeJounte Murray's not playing, the backup, and then Trae Young's not there, who the hell's playing guard? But you're going to have Bogdanovic playing point guard? I'll take my chances with that and run with the Pelicans to the window. Even if DeJounte is playing, 6.5 is not a number that they can't handle. So Pelicans minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 3.5 first half, minus 6.5 for the game. Zion over 22.5 points, also 25 plus points, over 34.5 par, and 6 plus rebounds. We also like C.J. McCollum for 3 plus threes, and Valanciunas for the Pelicans 1 plus block. So one more time in this Pelicans and Hawks matchup. Pelicans minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 3.5 first half, minus 6.5 for the game. Zion over 22.5 points. Also Zion for 25 plus points, over 34.5 par, and 6 plus rebounds. C.J. McCollum 3 plus threes, and Valanciunas 1 plus block. Next game up, Magic at home against the Pacers. Pacers on the road as of late have been absolutely pitiful, to be polite. And somehow they're only a 2-point dog heading over to Orlando. Orlando did get their ass smacked in the last game out. End of a long, they've played a lot of games in a row. No question about it. Now getting back home, time to kind of get back on the winning way one more time. Keep their playoff seed right where it's at, around 4 or 5. So we do like the Magic in this matchup here. The Pacers just on the road have been god-awful. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They've just been ugly to watch. I feel bad. The Pacers were so fun to watch early in the season. And ever since Halliburton's injury, it's been so far up and down. And the Pascal Siakam trade has not worked out like they had hoped. Siakam is not aggressive enough, or does not take enough threes, or it just it hasn't grooved yet with Halliburton on the floor. Of course, they traded for Siakam. Halliburton gets hurt. They don't really have any time together. Now they're kind of putting, then the offense kind of revolves around Pascal Siakam. Then Halliburton comes back. They have the All-Star break. Halliburton seems to push it maybe a little hard during the All-Star break, as he was the host of the All-Star game being in Indy. But it hasn't worked so far. But we will roll with the Magic here. Minus a half first quarter, minus a half first half, and minus 2 for the game. Halliburton under 19.5 points and under 33.5 par. Paolo Banchero, if you haven't seen him since the All-Star break, he's been probably he was an All-Star, but he's been one of the best players since the All-Star break. Luka's probably taken all the credit with all the triple-doubles and 35-plus points. But Banchero, for not really having too much of a 3 game, he's putting up 25-plus pretty consistently. So we do like Banchero 25-plus points, over 37.5 par, and 8-plus rebounds. We also like Jalen Suggs, if he's playing today, to hit some threes against that Indy non-existent 3-point defense. So Jalen Suggs, 2-plus threes and 3-plus threes. So one more time in this Magic and Pacers matchup. Magic minus a half first quarter, minus a half first half, minus 2 for the game. Halliburton under 19.5 points, under 33.5 par, and over 2.5 turnovers. Banchero, 8-plus rebounds, over 37.5 par, and 25-plus points. And Jalen Suggs, 2-plus threes and 3-plus threes in that game. Next game up on the board for us, or on the board period, I guess, is Thunder Grizzlies. Wow. So Thunder on the road have been a little, how do I put this? They've been winning. First quarter and first half have been a little bit of a struggle for them. And then they seem to maybe cover it, get the game or win the game, but, maybe struggling a little bit more in the first half. Holmgren was on fire. Then all of a sudden he's hit 2 dips again. SGA continues to put up his ridiculous season. I don't think he's going to win MVP. I sure wish he would, but I just think Jokic's stats sometimes get a little overwhelming. Even though the Nuggets are a championship team and SGA's, not that this team's not I think they're really talented, but they're awful young, and they're riding on his back so much. The Thunder, though, are 15-point favorite. No shocker there. The Grizzlies are just god-awful. The Thunder have blown them out previous matchups. I kind of expect to see the same today. The Grizzlies can muck it up, and they can make some threes, so you have to play three-point defense against them. But to be really honest, I would just stay at them at the three. There's not a lot of danger for them going to the hoop and doing anything damaging. So we'll take the Thunder minus 5.5 first half. I'm sorry, 5.5 first quarter, minus 9.5 first half, minus 15.5 for the game. We were trying to cut some of this juice down, but the Thunder, 15.5 is a tall number. I just think you could get a Grizzlies where they just roll over and die once they get done about 20 in the first half. SGA, 30-plus points, 2+ threes, 6+ assists. Holmgren, 15+ points, 20+ points, 2+ threes, 2+ blocks, 3+ blocks, and over 20 and 7.5 par. So one more time in this Thunder and Grizzlies matchup, Thunder minus 5.5 first quarter, minus 9.5 first half, minus 15.5 for the game. SGA, 30-plus points, 2+ threes, 6+ assists. Chet Holmgren, 15+ points, 20+ points, 2+ threes, over 27.5 par, and also 2+ blocks and 3+ blocks. Next game up, Knicks, 76ers game at Madison Square Garden. Knicks currently a 7-point favorite. To be really honest, I'm surprised it's not even a little bit more, 211 total. 76ers obviously have been just ugly, might be the politest way to put it. No Joel Embiid, no Maxey, Tobias Harris. If he's supposed to be your number one scoring option, you really don't have many chances to win games. Jalen Brunson's back. They're still missing Anunoby. They're still missing Julius Randle. They're still missing Mitchell Robinson. But DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, those guys have played pretty well. The problem is I think the Knicks are going to be so tired by the time the playoffs get here. Jalen Brunson, who's the guy that kind of makes everything happen for that team, should be downright exhausted by the time the playoffs start, just playing so many minutes. The Knicks are the play here today. I would take the Knicks even at 9.5. It's kind of how I feel them today. The 76ers are just not presenting much fight at all. So Knicks minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 4 first half, minus 7 for the game. Jalen Brunson over 28.5 points, 3+ threes. He's hit 4 in both matchups against the 76ers. And then we like Brunson over 38.5 par. Tobias Harris under 19.5 points. Josh Hart over 1.5 threes and 10+ rebounds in that one. So one more time in that Knicks 76ers matchup. Knicks minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 4 first half, minus 7 for the game. Jalen Brunson over 28.5 points, 3+ threes and over 38.5 par. Tobias Harris under 19.5 points. Josh Hart 2+ threes and 10+ rebounds. Next game up on the board, Cavs, Nets. Cavs at home, 7-point home favorite, 207.5 total. Only a few player props out on Nets players in this game. This is going to be one of those games you're going to have to make sure you double check back on that one. The only thing that we have so far in this game is the Cavs. I understand they've been a little wonky with no Donovan Mitchell, but how could you put any money on the Nets right now? The Nets have been god-awful, might be the best way to put it. The only 2 games since the All-Star break they've looked good were both against the Hawks. I don't know how you can bet the Nets whatsoever. It's a shame. They're literally going to waste Mikal Bridges' talent. I hope Mikal gets the hell out of there. I really do. But save his career. He's a guy that's a winner, that on a winning team can be a number 3 option and be the best 3 option in the league. So Cavs minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 4.5 first half, and minus 7 for the game. One more time, Cavs minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 4.5 first half, and -7 for the game. Like I said, we will have some player props I'm sure on that one. We're looking at Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen primarily. So when those become available, make sure you do check out back into the Google Sheets, and we should have those updated for you as soon as we make a play there. Next game up, or the last game on the board, I guess I should say, T-Wolves going to the Lakers. Lakers 1.5-point home favorite. Not quite sure how they're favored over the best team in the West. I understand there's no Karl Anthony Towns. If there was no Anthony Edwards, I'd be a lot more scared. I'll put it to you that way. Anthony Edwards had an off night the last game after having a monster and a winning block shot the game before. Gobert's been solid as he has been. Jaden McDaniels, one of the better defenders in the league, has also seemed to turn up the scoring maybe a smidge. Naz Reid creates a lot of good things. If you can get him to come off your bench, you've really got a winner there, because he can be such a dynamic scorer. But the problem is the ball stops with him. It's like watching Cam Thomas and some of these other guys where the ball doesn't move anymore. It's all ISO ball, hero ball. That's great maybe on a second unit where you need those points, but that first unit needs to flow a little bit better. We like the T-Wolves today, but there's not a lot of player props out yet. In fact, there was only a couple that we took, so make sure you do check back to the Google Sheets on these, as we will have some. Anthony Edwards' point total was at 31.5. I don't know how he goes from 29.5 and scores 19 points and goes up to, and we're going against the Lakers, but we'll come back to that one. But we did take T-Wolves plus a half first quarter, plus a half first half, plus 1.5 for the game. Anthony Davis, who's been absolute struggling lately, has played really well against the T-Wolves, and over 23.5 points and over 12.5 rebounds. Both games he's got 26 points plus, and he's also got 13 rebounds in both games. So we do like Anthony Davis in this spot here tonight. But like I said, I'm sure we will have quite a few more player props in this game once they become available. And so we went over the Google Sheets. Just go through those one more time. At the end of every show that we do, in the comments section, you will see a link that says docs.google.spreadsheet, a bunch of other stuff behind it. That is a link into our betting ledger. It's going to have, so there'll be multiple tabs for all the sports. So there's football for a couple seasons that are on there, baseball for a couple seasons, basketball that we just went through, and then also like golf, Formula One, UFC. There's a separate tab for kind of the non-mainstream sports. So make sure you click on the right tab. If it's basketball, scroll down to the date that you wanted to look at. It'll have all of them there. So it'll have all the bets we went through today, what juice we got those at, how many units, and then also what book we placed those at. So make sure you check that out. That's our Bible. This is our blueprint for how we make money. We're up over 7,000 units in basketball this season. We've had a monster year. Baseball was about the same, over 7,500 units in baseball, and it's coming right around the corner as well. So if you like watching baseball, you can always refer back to those Google Sheets, even if you don't have time to watch the show. Make sure you check out what we're doing. And to be really honest, we don't expect anybody to bet the volume of bets that we do. But, maybe you want to match them up. You have your bets you like. And if you hear us kind of confirming those, that should give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window. That's what it's all about. So we can go make some money. And as always, if you could subscribe and get notifications to the YouTube channel, makes life really simple once you hit that subscribe button. Basically we'll be right in your subscriptions every time a new episode drops. You'll get that little dot next to our logo there to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped a new episode of Bets. Or if you want to make it even simpler, turn notifications on for YouTube. And then you'll get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped a new episode of Bets. And like I said, match them up with your bets and give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window so we can all make some money. I do appreciate everybody's support as always and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.